Let's discuss a question on mechanism. This is a question from theory of machine. So what is asked is you have two gears. One is internal gear. The bigger one is the internal gear, the gear 1, and gear 2 is the external gear. Okay, and they are at the contact point is P. The instantaneous center of 2 with respect to 1. Basically the relative instantaneous center is asked. Now I21, like if you understand what is I21, you should be able to solve this. I21 is relative instantaneous center of body 2 with relative to body 1, body 2 with reference to body 1, Now one way of finding this is at the contact point, the tangential speed is same, right? The velocity is same at the contact point. It's same. Okay. For example, if you remember the 4-bar mechanism, you have something like this 4-bar mechanism. Okay. Now if you take this as link 2 and this is link 1, I21 is this, right? We will call this as I21. Why would we call this as I21? Now this is I21 because let's focus on these two links only. If I have this as link 1 and this as link 2, this is I2, this is 1, link 2, link 1. So this I would call as the common ping joint. I would call as I21 because what is the meaning? For this you need to understand what is the meaning of I21. Now I21 is relative to link 1, 2 should be able to rotate, okay, about that point. That's why you say relative instantaneous center of rotation. So if I fix 1, 2 will be able to rotate about this hinge point, okay. So this hinge point will be your axis of rotation or fixed point about which 2 will be rotating when 1 is fixed, and that's why we say it is a relative instantaneous center of rotation of body 2 with relative to 1. So all these contact points, if you fix it, all these contact points, so the other way of saying it is when there are two bodies in contact, okay, the point where you have common velocity, the point where two bodies will have common velocity, that is the point where you have instantaneous center. Okay, the point of common velocity is the other definition, okay, but the main definition, as you should understand, is that when two bodies are in contact, the contact point is the instantaneous center. And why I call this as instantaneous center is if I fix 1, 2 will be able to rotate about this point, and that will be the center of rotation for 2. Okay, so relative center of rotation of 2 with reference to 1. That is, if 1 is fixed, 2 will be able to rotate. That's why we call I21. Similar, going by that logic, this contact point is the instantaneous center of 2 relative to 1. Okay, because if 1 I fixed, if let's say imagine the ring gear is fixed, this 2 will be able to rotate considering the contact as the instantaneous center, right? This just fix, imagine that this is fixed, then this will be just rotating and coming here with this point as the center of rotation. It's just on a flat surface. If the ball is rolling, the flat surface is stationary. So with respect to ground, this is just similar to this. If you have a flat surface and a ball is rotating, purely rolling, okay, then this is the instantaneous center of rotation. So that is then, that we say it's absolute instantaneous center, but then we can also call this as relative instantaneous center between the ground and this body, because if the ground is stationary, this is the point about which the body has a tendency to rotate. Now imagine that this happens in a pure rolling. So going by all this discussion, C is the point of contact, P is the instantaneous center. So remember one basic fact: when two bodies are in contact and there is no slipping, that is the case here also. You have gears and there is no slipping, okay, at the point of contact, okay. At the pitch point there is no. So whenever there are two, just like so the basic point is whenever two bodies are in contact, just like imagine the links of a 4-bar mechanism. So So whenever the two bodies are in contact, the common point is the relative instantaneous center of rotation. Example, we have discussed a couple of examples here. One is your 4-bar mechanism, okay, where instantaneous center is at the center, at the common joint, and here also instantaneous center is at the common point of point. Okay, so two bodies in contact, instantaneous center is at the point of contact. Okay, that is the thing. Thank you.